Okay, in this lesson we're going to be making this website right here. And you can see there's a few different components to it. We're going to make this flexible and responsive. It doesn't look quite right here, but I had to shrink it all down to fit the picture on the page. But it's going to be basically different. You're going to have a navigation. When you click on a navigation, it's going to take us down to the section that's appropriate to that. This is a one-page website, unlike the other one where these would take you to individual pages. And I explained that one-page website it takes a little bit longer to load, but once it's loaded, then it's really fast, because when you click on these links, instead of opening another page and rendering it, it just goes down to a page that's already on the page. So it's very, very fast, and that's one of the advantages of doing that. All right, so let's take a look at the CSS. You should have already done your snippet, and when you do your snippet, then it gives you this. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and create our HTML first, and then we'll get into our CSS. I'm going to be doing 2 lessons at one time, so let's go ahead and get it done. Alright, so in our header section we have, I'm going to go ahead and change this and make it Trident Sandwich Shop. Okay, and description, which would go here. I'm just going to put Trident Sandwich Shop is great. Now, I would do more and put some keywords in there, but I don't have time for that. So we're going to move on. So that's my head section, and everything else goes into the body. So you can see on here that the first thing that we have is this navigation part right here. So that's the first thing we'll go ahead and put in our HTML. Now, whenever we do navigation, we're going to be using an unordered list. So let's go ahead and put that in there first. So inside the body, we're going to have a nav section. All right, that's just a block level element, a container for all our other parts of the nav. And inside that nav, we're going to have a UL, and we hit tab. And then inside there, we're going to have 5 different links. So since this is going to be an ordered list, it starts out with the LI tag. I press tab, puts that in there. Now inside that LI, I'm going to put an anchor because I want a tag. So I'm going to put A and then tab. And then here, I'm going to put hashtag top. And that's going to go to an ID that we're going to create for our CSS, and that's going to allow us to navigate to that pointer there. So this is going to say go to top, and then top is actually going to be the very top of the page here. And that's where our home is going to be. So whenever they type in home, it's going to take them just to the top of the page. All right, then the next thing we have, we're going to do it again, and with autocomplete it comes out pretty quick. So I have an LI, I have an A, tab. This one's going to be the about section, so we'll do hash about, and then the text we're going to put in there is about. Okay, pretty easy. And then another link, LI, tab, A, tab, and this is going to be the sandwich section, so we'll do hash sandwich, and then here we'll put sandwiches. Okay, then we have another link, LI, A, and then this is going to be the crew, so it's going to be hash crew. And then we'll put in crew. All right, and then well, the last one is going to be our contact section, so we'll do LI, A, hash contact, and then the word contact. So remember that first href is going to be the ID that we're going to be going to, and then this text that I'm typing in now is just simply going to be what's going to be displayed on the screen. Alright, so if I go ahead and do File and then Save All, and then I'll go in, and I'll right mouse click, and I will open with Chrome. Boom. You can't see anything. Alright, so here it is right here. And that's all we have right now. We just made that structure. Okay, but it's going to have to look like that, so we're going to have to do some styling. But for now, let's just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more HTML. So I'm going to do 2 lessons in this one. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have everything else inside a block level element called a wrapper. So right after nav, I'm going to type wrapper. Whoops. Oh, no. I'm going to call it not. Well, I have a div wrapper. Okay, we'll do that. Most of the time now I use main rather than div wrapper, but since my instructions have that up, we can use that. So I have a div.wrapper. So div.wrapper is kind of old school. I actually like using main because I like using semantic HTML. So just like header, or this header section, where is our nav section here? Sorry. So our nav section, in the old days would be div with a class of nav, and then we'd go ahead and style it. But we want to have, because of accessibility with readers and things like that, we want to use semantic webs. Having a wrapper isn't going to hurt anything semantically, but I like using main instead normally. All right, so inside here, we're going to have our top section, and that's going to be our header. Okay, and inside our header, we are going to have an article. Again, just a block level element. That's a child inside that. And then inside that article, we're going to have 2 separate items. We're going to have an H1, which is going to be Trident Sandwich Shop. And then we're also going to have an H2. And I'm going to style the text in here, so I'm going to be using an EM. And we're going to put in there in quotes, there's no better place in the low country. Probably could use that as our description to find. And then we're going to use a BR tag here because we don't want it to be on the same line. We want to break the line there. Let's go ahead and tab this in a little bit and then say delicious sandwiches at such a great price. Okay. All right, so that is that first article, and that's what we see, this part right here. Okay, and then we're going to have, underneath the header, we're going to have another section. And that's going to be section. And in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to add an ID. And we're going to make that equal to about. So when a person clicks, so when they click on this link right here, it's going to take them down to here to that ID. All right, we don't use the hashtags down here. We use it up in there in the when we're putting the navigation. All right, so in that section, I'm just going to have an H1 and I'll put about section. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the rest. All right, so I have, whoops. Let's see, I have, after this, I have another section. And this is going to be for sandwiches. So I'm going to do hash sandwiches. And that puts that ID in there. And then inside that, I'm going to have an H1. And sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know what that is. Okay, and then I'm going to have sandwich section, and then we'll repeat. I have a section. This is going to be for the crew, so it'll be hash crew, and that gives it an ID. And then inside there is going to be an H1. Why the H1 doesn't? There we go. And crew section. All right, and then the last one's going to be contact. So it'll be section hash contact, and then H1. Well, that doesn't work. And then this will be contact section. Okay, and then we're just going to also throw a footer on here. Another block level element that's not navigate. We're going to navigate to it. And I'm just going to put an H1 here and make that footer section. So I put the text in here. We're not going to keep that text. That's just placeholder. And then if I do File, Save All, then I can come back here and refresh. We can see that's what we have now. So there's all our sections. And doesn't look good, but we have to now style it up now that we have our HTML all on board on that. Okay, and that'll be in our next video.